Hello, Divine Feminine. Welcome to your power message for Tuesday. My name's Liz and this is Guided by Angels. And I'm going to bring in 3 decks of cards today before I bring in the daily guidance book. We're going to bring in the Divine Feminine 101 just to see what energy you're in and why. We're going to bring in the beautiful Starseed Oracle by Rebecca Campbell. And I'm going to bring in the Goddess Power Oracle because you are a goddess and you are powerful. So let's see what we need to know. And before I start the reading, I just want to let you know that today's Divine Masculine reading is going to be very powerful. It's going to be about the ascension symptoms they may be experiencing right now and why. So if you're experiencing ascension symptoms and if you feel they are coming from your twin, whether they are being sent to you by your twin to understand what they are going through, or you are connecting with those symptoms because you are one, make sure you watch that video. And the symptoms I'm talking about are things like feeling cold, maybe having issues in the nose, like you're feeling tingling around the mouth, or, you may even be constipated or you're having stomach pain or heartburn. So if you're experiencing any of those things, make sure you check out the masculine reading today. And if you do want a personal reading with me, I am available right now. You can email me at guidedbyangelsxo@gmail.com. Okay, let's see what's happening today. That one card jumping straight out the deck there. One energy. So let's shuffle the Starseed Oracle and see what we need to know. Thank you, angels. What's the energy straight out there? And I'm going to shuffle the Goddess Power cards. Thank you, angels. What's the energy around the feminines today? What do we need to know? Straight out. The card flipped out and turned around. Here we go. Okay, so very clear reading with 3 cards coming out. So the first energy is, when we say goodbye, it hurts physically. When we say goodbye, it hurts physically. So it's reminding you how powerful this love is when you say goodbye. Now that could be saying goodnight and knowing that you're going to see them tomorrow. That's just as painful as saying goodbye for what you may think is good. If you think, oh, that's it for good, we're never going to be together, he said goodbye to me. It hurts just as much when you think it's over as when you part for a few hours. And that's because of the power of the love. So the angels are reminding you 2 things. First of all, whenever you say goodbye, it's good because it's actually bringing in a healing. And it's allowing you both to miss each other and remember the power of the love, to remember the power of the connection because you feel it physically. And also to remember it's never over with twin flames. So they may say goodbye to you, but it's never over. And it's certainly never over for good because you are eternal. So I feel some of you may be feeling this physically today. You may be missing them and it may be painful because it's hurting you physically to be away from them. And you're being reminded why these things happen. They happen to grow you and make you stronger and prove to both of you the power of the love. So let's see what this also means. We've got empathic starseed. So you're being reminded that you are mirrors of each other. So if you're missing them, they are missing you. If you're finding it hard to stay away from them, they are finding it hard to stay away from you. If it's hurting you physically, it's hurting them physically. And that's why I'm picking up on all these ascension symptoms today. So you are each other's mirrors and you mirror back to them their wounds to be healed. And they mirror back to you your wounds to be healed. And that's why it hurts physically when you say goodbye. Whether that's seeing each other the next day or you've gone into a separation or you're in fear it's over. And it's because you are an empath. So these are the moments when you feel. You're able to feel more, to connect with the energy of the way you feel more, to connect with collective energy, to connect with your twin's energy. And the problem arises when we absorb more of what we need to, absorbing what's not yours. So you may be absorbing their energy and it may be making you feel bad because they're operating in pain. And the way to stop absorbing what's not yours is to keep your vibration high and to continue to shield yourself and focus on the good. Even if it's a buy, it's a good buy, which means there's a reason for it. and you are connecting with your energetic sovereignty. That means your power as a twin flame, as a starseed, as a light worker, as a spiritual being having a human experience. You are an empath for a reason. And that's the path you've chosen to take. You've come here to walk this journey and to learn and grow through the things you feel and experience. And when we feel and experience these things, even the painful things, it proves to us that we are alive. And everything you go through on your journey teaches you about the journey. It makes you stronger. It helps you to be a better person. It helps you to be a better light worker because you work in the light as you work through your light, as you work through your day. And you're learning to understand and have compassion firsthand at what others go through too. And that's why when you're feeling what your masculine feels and you know that's what you're feeling, it's easier to deal with because you realise that they're not indifferent to this love. They don't just brush it under the carpet, they feel it too because you are mirrors of each other. And you learn through these feelings and situations to be adaptable. You learn to be flexible and adaptable. This is really powerful that this card's come in because what I'm feeling with this is, if your masculine makes plans with you and then breaks those plans at the last minute or doesn't come to you when he says he's going to, or something happens that doesn't go to your plan, in those moments we're learning to be adaptable. We're learning to be flexible. We're realising during those moments that it's going to be okay. That actually when we're not coming together with our twin in that moment, we're not meant to be because we're being protected and we are safe. And I learned this quite early on with a catalyst because, I was involved for 6 years with a married catalyst and I learned so many powerful lessons with that, through that connection. I learned to love myself. I learned what self-worth is because I had none. And, I remember chasing his car up the road and doing crazy things. And, because I got no self-worth, I'd forgotten my own value. And him and the connection taught me that. He was my real, teacher of self-worth, and the catalyst after him and before George taught me how to love myself enough to no longer be jealous. So really I learned to overcome jealousy with my previous catalyst. And the one before that was where I learned my own value. And obviously we don't really have value if we're still jealous. There's still always lessons to learn there. But I realised that, wow, I have to be adaptable. It's never about me. It's always about what the other person is going through. So what you have to remember is, if your masculine makes plans with you and then breaks them, it isn't because he doesn't want to see you. It's because something may have come up. And what may have come up is his own fear or his guilt or his insecurity. It could be something's happened and he can't get to you or he can't be with you for some reason. But most of the time it's through fear. And you're being saved in that moment. You don't want to be around him while he's feeling guilty or while he's worrying or, he isn't really there with you or he's thinking about getting in the car and going somewhere else or doing something else. You want him to be in an energy when he's spending time with you where he is spending time with you and his mind isn't elsewhere. So it may hurt physically to not be around him at that moment, but it's always the right thing because you're learning to be adaptable. And they're giving me tooth pain. So when we say goodbye, it hurts me physically. And it brings in decisions, tooth pain. Because this is when the masculines realise they have to make a change. And they're giving me really painful tooth pain, sensitive teeth. So the empathic starseed is also about sensitivity. We get sensitive to energies. We're able to understand if people are on our wavelength or vibration or not. And they're also giving me downloads in the ear chakras right now. Whenever I'm doing a reading and this comes in, it feels like I've gone deaf in one ear. Or there's a slight ringing in one ear. And that's because I'm receiving downloads of information the angels want me to share. And you're being reminded that happens to you too. Because you'll receive the information you need to understand things the right way and share that with the world. So if you feel right now sensitive, if you feel like you're drained or tired or You're going through your own ascension. Make sure you are shielding yourself and do what feels right for you. When I was on camera doing my readings, and I was on camera for a long time, about 3 years doing readings on camera. And during that time, I absorbed energy. And I don't mind doing that, but sometimes we have to have a little break from absorbing the energy in that way. It's really nice for me to be behind the camera right now doing the readings this way because I'm shielding myself more. I'm not absorbing as much energy. And it's lovely to be able to look at the cards in this way when I'm doing a reading. So I'm looking at the cards and I'm feeling the power. Like right now, looking at this card, I'm seeing this mirror as a portal. Portal to a new beginning. Whatever is reflected back to us, we're able to heal it so we can then pass through it and move towards a newness. I'm even seeing that mirror there as a bit matrixy, like when Neo, when he was unplugged from the Matrix and he put his finger in the mirror and he, started going all up his arm, and that was when he was unplugged from the Matrix. So this is also things we go through when we unplug, when we clear our mind, when we free our mind, when we're able to look at our life very clearly and powerfully and say, wow, yes, I'm honestly and genuinely reviewing my life. I realise now that this isn't serving me and this does serve me. So I'm moving towards what does and I'm moving away from what doesn't. So this is your power. So remember, anytime you get triggered or you get challenged by something, it's an opportunity to go within, to respond with love, but to be flexible and adaptable, to be patient, calm and understanding, to observe it through the eyes of love, not fear, to be compassionate and to realise that all is well and that when you say goodbye, it hurts both of you physically. And a lot of the times the masculines push you away when all they really want to do is run into your arms. If they say things to you like, let move on, or I don't care, or they're doing it through their own fear and their own insecurity. And they just need some space to heal those mirrors and those wounds. So whatever is being mirrored back to them. That's why you are each other's greatest teacher, because you are each other's greatest mirror. And you're both feeling sensitive right now because you're mirroring each other. You're both feeling ascension symptoms because you're mirroring each other. You're both telepathically communicating constantly. And you're being guided to shield yourself from absorbing what's not yours. So remember, as much as you are one, and they're giving me fear, as much as you are one, you don't have to absorb their fear. You don't have to allow that into your aura or energy field. You can shield yourself from that right now. And as compassionate as you are and as kind as you are and gentle and loving as you are, you don't have to take on other people's problems as your own. You take them on, but then you release them to heaven. You cut the cords. You can never cut cords of love, but you can cut cords of fear and struggle and drama and negativity. And that's what they want you to know. So if you're feeling a bit drained, tired, you just may be absorbing too many things that you need to heal and shield yourself from. So the message in today's book says, leave the details to God. Isn't that powerful? Leave the details to God. So in other words, when you're worrying about the future, thinking, how is it going to happen? When's it going to happen? Is it going to happen? And you question everything. You have to step out of the way. Leave the details to God. Let the universe sort it out. You just focus on the end result and what you desire, and the universe will create the way. The angels see that you worry about making progress in your life. So this is really about, when are you going to be in union? When's he going to reach out? All the things that we think about and can obsess about on this journey. And the angels are here to reassure you that your every prayer is heard and overseen by powerful beings. And they are at work on your behalf right now. All the details of these efforts are inconsequential and certainly not worth worrying about. So in other words, the angels are already on this. You don't need to worry. Give it to God. If you have time to worry, remember, you have time to pray. It's true that you feel more in control of your life when you know what's happening, but understanding has many levels. And depending on whether you focus on lower or higher energy issues, The lowest level occurs when people believe that they must take away from others in order to meet their needs. This is based on the belief that there's a limited supply and competition is necessary. So that's when we're in fear that they're never going to leave a karmic partner, or we're trying to compare ourselves to the karmic partner, or we don't feel enough. The highest level, in contrast, is best described as joyful faith. And that's really the energy of surrender. A carefree and true surrender to the divine. People with this focus understand that once a prayer has been made, God is in charge of all the details and will guide them to take action if necessary to help things along. This is true teamwork with spirit. So surrender to God and the angels any worries about how your prayers and desires will come true. And that's so true. You know, we don't have to keep asking. We ask one time and the angels hear. I remember once I've talked about this before. You know, I was watching a pastor doing a seminar once, and I can't remember who it was. I think it was that Jesse guy. Anyway, he was talking about how when we ask, it's given. And we know that anyway, when we ask, it's given. You know, Jesus says that. But it's the same with prayer. And he was speaking about someone who was asking a prayer. And he was asking and asking and asking. And nothing was happening on the surface. Nothing. And he continued to ask and ask and ask. So every day he was asking the same prayer, not really believing because he wasn't seeing things on the surface, any results. Yet after so many days, Archangel Michael came to him and said, we heard your prayer the first time you asked it, but we've been dealing with a battle behind the scenes to create the solution to your problem. We've been working it all out behind the scenes. So just because you can't see it does not mean you should not believe it, because it's all happening behind the scenes. You are heard, seen, and understood by heaven just for being who you are. So you don't need to plead with heaven. You don't need to keep asking, because the one time is enough. All you have to do when you've asked for what you desire is trust with unwavering faith that your prayer is heard, and it will be answered at the right time, in divine time. And that's always the right time for you, because God knows you and the process of your life and what you do and do not need in your life, and the exact right moments to bring those things to you. So really, this is all a lesson about trusting in God and having faith in the divine. And that's how you show God that you love him. Even if you haven't got a bond with him right now, you show him you love him and you're grateful for the life he's given to you by trusting in him and trusting that there is a plan to your life and you are safe. So allow yourself to feel everything you feel, but you don't have to absorb what's not yours because you are a twin flame, or because you are an empath or a starseed. You can shield yourself from anything that's harsh to you or toxic, and understand that when you say goodbye, it's never over. It's never over, and it hurts just as much to, be missing from each other's lives for a few hours or a few decades. It's the same kind of feeling, but you're learning how to be adaptable and change your thought patterns and see things in a much higher way to focus on peace. And that's really what they want you to know. I hope this helps. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon.